If I woke up with back pain and sciatica tomorrow and I wanted to get back to normal life and working out within a few days, here's exactly what I'd do. First, I would take 10 deep breaths to stop my fight or flight response from making me freak out. And our muscles can brace so much that they cramp or spasm or just lock up completely, so much that it can feel like a trap being just set off. So I'd try to find a comfortable position, or at least a position that causes me the least amount of pain. And then I'd take at least 10 peaceful breaths. 4 seconds to inhale, 6 or more seconds to exhale. And these extended exhalations would help to lower my heart rate, my blood pressure, and allow my overprotective muscles to just relax, reduce my fear, my cortisol, and really just get out of that fight or flight state. And just a quick note, I know that in a really bad flare-up, some people really can't take a deep breath. That's not a big deal. Just take a peaceful breath and make it a slow breath at first. Depth can come with time. The goal is really just to relax and stop yourself from freaking out. 2, I'd remind myself that hurt doesn't equal harm. I'd respect the pain and work around the pain, but I wouldn't fear the pain, because research shows that fear of pain is more disabling than pain itself. So I'd remind myself that even if I have disc degeneration or disc herniations or even nerve irritation, that these things are commonly found in most people, whether or not they have pain. Therefore, I'd tell myself that even if I have a lot of pain, that the level of pain I'm having does not mean that that's the level of damage going on. In fact, I might not be damaged at all. I'd think of it the way that a sunburn hurts like crazy the next day, even with simple things like putting on a t-shirt or taking a shower. Even though I'm not causing any additional damage, these things are inflamed and extra painful, but the pain does not mean that I'm causing more damage by just going about my daily life. And this is really important because it would reassure me that exploring a little gentle movement and resuming some of my daily activities is perfectly safe within tolerance, a little at a time. And this would reassure me that I don't have to avoid everything that causes any amount of pain, and that there is such a thing as safe pain. I don't have to live in fear. 3, I'd find any form of short-term pain relief that feels good to me and doesn't cost very much. So heat, ice, self-massage, gentle stretching, these are great options. And the best option is really just whichever one feels the best to you. Because research on these pain options shows that they're pretty much all the same for short-term pain relief, and none of these things do anything meaningful long-term. Now, if I really like hands-on therapy like massage, chiropractic mobilizations, or acupuncture, and I didn't mind spending the money on short-term pain relief, I could absolutely do that. But I would remind myself that these treatments do nothing to impact long-term recovery. They do not change joint alignment. They do not break up adhesions. They do not fix asymmetries and imbalances. It's just short-term pain relief, and that's fine. 4, then I'd try to figure out why this happened in the first place. I'd remind myself that research shows that every single person has asymmetries like anterior pelvic tilt, a short leg, or even MRI findings like degeneration. So I'd be careful not to try to blame those types of things for my pain, since I know that these physical findings, if I have those asymmetries, I've had them my whole life before the pain started, and I'm gonna keep having those asymmetries long after the pain is gone. So I don't wanna get distracted with shiny objects. Instead, I'd ask simple questions like, what is in my cup? So if I have a cup and this cup can only hold so much stuff, if it fills up with too much stuff and overflows, something's gotta give. I'm gonna get sick or have pain or an injury, something. So I need to figure out what's in my cup. Did I overdo it with activity and do too much too fast for too long? Or maybe I did an activity that was out of the ordinary for me? Or maybe the opposite. I've been living a sedentary lifestyle for too long. I've done too little for too long. My body has gotten weaker over time. Over months and years, I'm doing less and less activity. And now it's just easier to hurt myself doing simple things because my tolerance for activity lowers the longer that I live a sedentary lifestyle. Or maybe it's not about activity at all. Have I been extremely stressed, anxious, fearful, depressed? I'm sleeping like crap or eating like crap. Or maybe there was a major life event like losing a job or losing a loved one or some other big life change. So I need to figure out what's in my cup so I can take stuff out of the cup and build a bigger cup with strength training and developing better stress management, sleep, and nutrition. Basically, I'd investigate all the factors that led to this flare-up so that I could prevent it from happening again in the future. And 5, I'd visualize healing. So trust me, this is not woo-woo stuff, this is research-based. I would never go to Google or ChatGPT for advice. Stop looking at images of disc herniations and spinal anatomy. Research shows that nearly everybody has degeneration, herniations, stenosis, scoliosis, and all kinds of things on their MRI, whether or not they have pain. It's just gonna freak you out. On top of that, people who have unnecessary MRIs of their back, they do get freaked out. They're 12 times more likely to jump into a surgery that they don't need out of fear. So I do not want to be picturing anatomy that's just gonna scare me even more. Instead, I'd picture how my body is busy at work healing and strengthening me, and I'd reassure myself that time is on my side. But if you want to replace scary anatomy with something positive, you could think about good things like how movement hydrates your spinal discs and brings blood flow and nutrients for healing and reduces pain hypersensitivity by rewiring the brain and the nervous system and reducing inflammation. All right, 6, it's time for exercise. Now that I've calmed my body down and I'm not in this overprotective fight or flight state, now I can do a little bit of gentle movement and exercise to prove to my body that it's safe to move my joints and muscles. And now that I'm out of that fight or flight state, my body's not going to respond by locking down and spasming and cramping and having my back lock up on me. Quick reminder, with exercise, I would never waste my time trying to fix posture, alignment, or supposed muscle imbalances, because research shows that these things cannot be blamed for pain, since basically everybody is asymmetrical whether or not they have pain. So instead, I just start off with really gentle movements to see how I do. For example, if I was really flared up, I could start with something like putting my legs up on a couch or a chair and then doing a little belly breathing to just get my back to relax. Or if I felt like I could handle a little bit of motion, then I could do things like a gentle pelvic tilt or a partial range of motion cat-cow to prove to myself that I don't have to brace my spine for dear life. Another great option is some of you have a really hard time bending forward, or the opposite, bending back. You could test both directions, see which one's better. And then commonly, bending backwards feels better, especially if you're the kind of person who bending forward feels terrible. And if that's the case, for a little while, I could do these backward bending or spinal extension movements throughout the day to keep things loose. But eventually, I would want to reintroduce full range of motion a little bit at a time. Basically, I just want to focus on getting back to full body movements that mimic real life, like squats, hinges, lunges, and being able to move my spine in any direction. That way, I'm preparing myself for real life, like getting up and down off of the ground or a chair, or picking things up and moving things around. If your rehab exercises don't prepare you for real life, then it's no wonder that when you do go back to real life after doing physical therapy, you just keep getting flared up. So graded exposure to full body mobility and strength is the fastest path back to a normal life, and it's gonna help prevent future flare-ups. So from there, I'm just gonna take as long as it takes. I'm gonna slowly progress my full body mobility and strength exercises to get more and more challenging as quickly as I can tolerate without flaring myself up. Okay, 7, lastly, I'd give it time. I should be able to start some kind of movement routine right away, but it's gonna be gentle, and I know that it might be a long time to bounce back to 100%, especially if I have sciatica. So I'd commit to working the previously mentioned steps for weeks or even months if necessary. And in the meantime, I'd find some things in my life to distract myself so that I'm not letting pain just ruin my life. Like, I could find substitutions for things that just bring joy into my life. Like, let's say I really loved group fitness classes classes because that's my social time. Well, all right, I can't go work out with my friends, but I could try to meet up for food or some kind of non-physical fun with those friends so that I'm still prioritizing my mental health. Or let's say that I really love mountain biking, but I can't do that right now because of the pain. But the thing I love about mountain biking is getting out into nature. That's my medicine. So I could see, how do I still get out into nature? Maybe I could do some easy nature walks. Just do something to bring some joy into my life. The point is, I need to find some things that just make me happy and take my mind off of pain and rehab. I don't want to sit there ruminating and magnifying the pain, thinking about it all the time, because the more I think about it, the more I make myself feel like I'm damaged, like I'm injured, and I do not want to think of myself as injured or disabled. Even if I technically was disabled, I'd want to view myself as being in a temporary state of recovery, but realize that no matter how bad it is, I can still find ways to live a meaningful and fulfilling life, even if I'm in pain, and recognize it's a temporary journey. I'm gonna get better eventually. And yes, for the record, this applies even if you've had pain for years or even decades. I personally had chronic pain for over a decade, and we've had people in our program who've overcome 20 or 30 plus years of chronic back pain and sciatica. So there is always hope. So I do my best to work around my limitations, but still find things that I am capable of doing to bring joy into my life. Now, if you want to see how I'd fix pain long term, we just made a brand new free training, and we're just launching a brand new form of support for our Beyond Back Pain program, including a free trial, which is something we've never offered. So check the link in the description, see how we can overcome chronic pain and get you back to normal life without drugs, without surgery, without having to worry about this complicated stuff that it just leads you on a wild goose chase, chasing your posture and your alignment. So this training is 100% free. Click the link in the description and I'll see you there.